Welcome to Wrestling Made Me Cry. My name is Kiley.
Oh, and I'm Auntie Collins.
See, I remembered to do intros this week.
I'm so proud of you.
I know, everybody should be so proud of me. And my wrestling shirt of the week is AEW Statue of Liberty in New York.
It's so cool.
Yeah. It's a really nice shirt too. It's not the like the rough t-shirt material. It's like the nicer, softer one.
I love a soft tee. You know, my 4 shirts came in. Because I ordered 2 for my husband and 2 for myself. I got myself a new Hangman. And I got myself a Megan Bayne shirt. I'm very excited to wear them.
Bayne.
My husband got the same Hangman shirt, so we're gonna both wear 2 Hangman shirts. I know, I love matching. And then I got him the new Timeless Toni Storm shirt, which is really cool. It's a performance of a lifetime. So I wanted to channel my inner Tonita Storm.
I love Toni Storm. And I love you. So it makes sense.
The feeling's mutual.
I wanted to get the AEW Trailer Park Boys like crossover shirt. I don't know if it's still available. I might still get it. But I love Trailer Park Boys and I love AEW, so it makes sense.
I have no idea who the Trailer Park Boys are.
So it's an not old, but older TV show that's about these 3 friends in Canada. They live in a trailer park and they're really poor. So they try to make money however they can. But the problem is that one of them, he's an alcoholic, but he's like the smartest one. His name is Julian. And then there's Bubbles, who his parents abandoned him and he lives in Julian's shed. And then there's Ricky, who's just stupid.
And this is a show? This is a web series? Like, what is this?
It's a show. And then they have, like, specials. And they have, like, a web series now. But it basically started with a bunch of guys who weren't actors. And they were just on the show called Trailer Park Boys. It's so good. But, yeah, they get up to, like, criminal activity. And they go to jail a lot. And this
is something you like. This sounds like my extended family.
It's so funny. And there's the like head of the trailer park. His name is Mr. Leahy. He is just out to get them. Like he basically wants them to go to jail and stay there forever. And he has a boyfriend named Randy who walks around shirtless all the time. It's just I'm not doing it justice. Yeah, so Clown is right. The premise is that they're making a documentary about living in a trailer park.
Is it a documentary or a mockumentary?
It's a mockumentary.
Okay, so it's not real.
That becomes, over time, it becomes more like sitcom-y, but it's really, really good. I highly recommend Trailer Park Boys. But there's an episode where they're raising money to save the trailer park, I think. I don't remember what the premise of the episode is, but they have a wrestling show in the trailer park. And here, I have to look this up for you because you need the visual. But basically people pay money to wrestle Bubbles. And Bubbles' wrestling character is the Green Bastard.
Okay.
And so he dresses up as the Green Bastard, and people pay money to wrestle him. And so AEW is doing a crossover with them. So that I don't know why AEW is doing a crossover with them. I'm going to be real, but I think it's freaking hilarious. So.
Oh, okay.
Everybody should watch it. The Green Bastard.
This isn't going in tandem, right? I
don't know like what the premise of this crossover is, but the Green Bastard cut a promo on Adam Copeland. So they released this shirt that's merch, and then they both have games. They're doing like a crossover with the games. I don't know like the extent of this partnership, but the Green Bastard, first of all, he's undefeated.
What?
Yeah, he's an undefeated wrestler. See, he does a mean headlock. You are so confused. I love it.
Am I in a different world? Are these words that aren't real?
It's so funny. Look at the wrestling ring in the trailer park. Listen, you have to watch it. The show is just, it's just great. And Bubbles has a puppet named Conky. And he has kitties. He has a bunch of stray cats that he puts in, and he has a kitty song. Oh, and he steals and fixes and resells shopping carts. That's how Bubbles makes his money.
What?
You just have
These
to
sound
watch
like people I'm related to, by the way.
Yeah, that's part of the fun of watching it. It's so funny.
I do have to tell you, one of my cousins got married two falls ago. And the night before, multiple people went to jail.
In your family? At the wedding?
Yeah, so they had to have like alternate people in the wedding party because they were sitting in jail. Because they got into a fight.
Well, at least it was memorable.
I mean, it was interesting. And then hearing that, like, there were things involved. There was a bonfire gone wrong.
Oh.
There were Roman candles involved.
Sounds like my kind of wedding.
I mean, it's just...
Getting arrested the day before a wedding is crazy work. I'm going to be real. It like, especially if you're in the wedding party.
Yeah. It's just
my light is so bright, y'all.
My family. But
my light was so bright and none of you in the chat came and told me. How could you?
Wow. I guess you guys should send in some super chats because we have a lot of things that aren't Trailer Park Boys to talk about.
Yeah. We listen, this was a wild week of wrestling. It was like one thing after the other.
But because we had an off week last week, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even get to mention the absurdity that was Adam Copeland and Jon Moxley. I'm still reeling from that. Am I still allowed to be there during that moment?
Yeah.
Because that spot is still in mi cabeza.
It was crazy to the extent where, listen, and I'm not someone who like gets like disturbed by violence in wrestling.
Sure.
Right? Like I watch a lot of deathmatch stuff, like hardcore matches, that kind of stuff. Like I feel like I was someone who, when Hangman drank Swerve's blood, I was here for it. Okay.
Yeah. So
the spot with the baseball bat, with the baseball bat with the spikes on it, it's in Moxley's back. I didn't feel like that was too far at all, but it did spark a lot of discourse on what is too far in wrestling. Like, was this too far? Was other things too far? I personally thought it was entertaining, and it's on brand for Jon Moxley. And I also think it's like not the worst thing Jon Moxley has done. I'm going to be real, but you
don't think that's the worst?
No, Jon Moxley's done a lot of barbed wire stuff. He's done glass. He's done mouse traps and tables and exploding barbed wire and all sorts of things. And it's like definitely a visual, right? Especially because it's stuck in his back. And I don't know if the goal was for it to get stuck in his back, or if that was just like happenstance. It just happened like that. I don't know. But I think that Jon Moxley, because of the character he's established for himself, this is something I think that fans expect from Jon Moxley. And like, you watch a Jon Moxley match, this is what you're getting. Which is why when other people, like Moxley versus Kenny Omega, for example, when Kenny Omega does that kind of stuff, it's a little more shocking because he doesn't do it all the time.
Right.
But for Moxley, it's like expected, and I think it enhances the character of Jon Moxley, who's this like unhinged, unstoppable, do anything to win kind of guy for the love of the sport. So I didn't think it was too far, but a lot of people did.
Yeah, and I think that's a good discourse, a place to start, because every time that we have a death match, we're trying to not top the next one, but how do you make this one stand out? There's going to be no other feud like Hangman and Swerve. Their street fights, their cage matches are going to live in AEW infamy as, remember that time that there was a cinder block used? Remember that time he choked him out with a chain? Remember that time that he used a syringe?
Yeah.
However, I think you have to make every match memorable because it is for the sickos. Because y'all watching are sickos. Because I'm a sicko too, right? Yeah. But all these people who are hypocrites saying, no, there's too much violence. But watched or participated in ECW?
I also feel like I understand, like, some people are just squeamish about blood or that kind of stuff. And I get it. I do. But I don't understand. I'm treading so carefully right now. It's Jon Moxley.
But like, people go horror movies. Now. You know what I mean? Like, people see suspense and slasher.
I love the Terrifier, right? I love these movies are very, very, very gory to the extent that like they cause nausea and stuff when people go to see them. To me, no reaction. So Jon Moxley with the barbed wire thing stuck in him, or a spike or a glass or whatever, no reaction. I think it's cool. I'm a sicko. For other people, it's too much.
It was a little gaggy for me, but I also think that's Jon Moxley.
Exactly. So like you know, he's established that this is what he does. This is the kind of match that he does. He doesn't really ever deviate from it unless it's like a small little match. I don't want to say a throwaway match, but a match that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But for his big matches, he always does this kind of stuff. So I understand the impulse to say, oh, that was not for me. This is not the kind of match I'm into. It's another thing to say that like AEW was a garbage promotion or desperate or like all this other stuff that I saw people saying because they allowed Jon Moxley to do this. Like, and people were saying, look at Cope, he's downgraded himself. He's gone from WrestleManias to this. And I don't understand that criticism. One, because do you know anything about Edge? Because Edge did stuff like this a lot.
Yeah. Just like even the saga with John Cena, you know, like,
yeah.
Do you remember those matches? The tables on top of tables on top of tables, and they crashed right through. Hello.
And then not only that, it's also Jon Moxley. This is Jon Moxley. This is what you get. If you don't like that kind of stuff, that's fine. That's your prerogative. I'm never going to shame someone for not being into gory, violent stuff, right? But that doesn't mean AW is bad for giving that type of wrestling to the people that want it, right? Because it's not like it's every match on the card is this kind of this gory, bloody, you know, chaos wrestling. There's other types of wrestling going on. And that's like the beauty of AEW, that from the first match to the last match, you're going to have a bunch of different styles represented. And that's how AEW has always been. You are always going to have to watch things on an AEW show that you don't like. because it's not your cup of tea. And it's always been that way. So I don't understand all this uproar suddenly, especially now that AW is cooking again and it's good again. I don't understand all this uproar about Tony Khan needs to put his foot down and he needs to make sure that this kind of nasty stuff doesn't make its way onto TV. And what? This, like, it's fine not to like Jon Moxley.
Sure.
Right? It's a whole nother thing to act like AEW is doomed and ruined and a bad representation of wrestling because Jon Moxley is there. Are there things in AEW that have happened that I thought were unnecessary? Yes. The Nightmare Collective. Just an example.
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it. My thing was I was so confused the entire time, and then they never resolved it. Because they just like yanked it from TV. But I was like so confused about why they were just shaving heads all the time.
They were collecting hair.
And but like what was the end goal? We never knew. They never told us. So all we can do is speculate.
Some say that they're still out there collecting hair. Hey, they collected Sean Ross Sapp's hair for charity.
They did. Yeah, and it was a lot of hair. Do you guys remember when Sean had long hair? I don't know how many of our viewers remember that, but it was pretty long.
It was long, and he looks better with his short hair.
I think he only grew it out to donate it, though.
Good.
Don't quote me on that. But
I'm gonna quote you now.
I also, and this is like a controversial opinion, back to the topic of violence, I feel like people should be exposed to things that they don't like. Because I feel like it makes you a better consumer of culture. Mm-hmm. And I also think it makes you a more tolerant person. And if you only ever interact with people you like and things you like, what are you learning? Nothing.
Well, it's the same people that watch Ring of Honor television right now, and they're like, "Oh, all this lucha stuff." Do you know that the first Ring of Honor show had heavily lucha? The basis of Ring of Honor is based in lucha. No, you didn't know that?
And also, I don't understand. Lucha kind of gets a similar thing where it's like all these spots are unnecessarily dangerous, that they're just doing flips for the spectacle of it, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Lucha is an entire culture, right? It's an entire thing. It's its own thing. And in the United States, our representation of lucha, mm-hmm. I will say it's been increasing in the last few years, but it's like significantly like a small part of what lucha actually is. So the more luchadors that we get in the United States, the happier I am. Because I think that people should be exposed to a lot of different types of things. And I think that lucha is a lot different from what Jon Moxley does, but I think they're both equally valuable because they're two different interpretations of the same art form.
Ding, 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 ding. You're a winner. You're a winner, baby. Absolutely.
That's why people pay me and you the big bucks, because we know what's going on.
But it's also how I feel about all the people that are like, oh, these women matches, these sucked. Because right now in the discourse, because people are bringing up that both Royal Rumble winners will not be main eventing WrestleMania.
That's true.
And there are no women in the main event of both nights of WrestleMania. And then now there are people saying that Bianca versus Sasha, which was the last time women have main evented WrestleMania, was bad.
It was not bad. That was a great match.
It is one of my top 10 cry moments.
People are saying that match was bad?
Yeah, they're saying that match was bad.
Buddy, what?
I know.
There are people who say Mercedes can't wrestle.
In what world?
I'm like looking for the moment where she couldn't wrestle. Like,
do they know what not wrestling looks like?
no.
But see, that's also the thing of like, I feel like the narrative shifts to whatever people say because people think that they can just say anything and it be correct. You can say whatever you want in Beyonce's internet of 2025. You can say whatever you want. However, you cannot expect to say things that are arguably untrue and be left unchecked.
Mm-hmm.
You can, unless you just have a void of yourself and you are just saying whatever you want. When you put a thought out on Beyonce's internet, what happens is people are going to respond and say, actually, it was not. Here are the reasons. Actually, it was like, they're going to argue with you. And then you going, yeah, okay. You want to remain in a silo, right? That's what that this is, just a container of your own thoughts. And then you're like, you're infringing on my freedom of speech. No one is infringing on your freedom of speech. However, if you say something, you're not going to be left unchecked. So by saying that Sasha versus Bianca as a WrestleMania main event was bad, I would like you to attend my class because
I feel like nobody even in the moment said it was bad.
No. It was a fantastic match. A lot of it was storytelling greatness. Was it a technical prowess of Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness? No.
But it was never going to be.
But it wasn't going to be because that's not the type of wrestlers they were. That 2006 match of Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness that y'all know about, that's not going to be every match. And that is not the antithesis of what makes a great match. However, when we're talking about, oh, this is great, or this is great, this is your own perspective, this is your own opinion, it is subjective. Where we get into the hold is like, okay, but do I respect your opinion at all? Dave Meltzer. Sorry. He objectively does not like women's wrestling. Matches that he does not think that are great, people listen to that, and that's fine. You can listen to Dave Meltzer talk about how women's wrestling is just shy, and not, I don't care.
Yeah. My thing is, it like all comes down to the reason why you don't like a certain thing. So like if you don't like Sasha and Bianca because they're women or because they're black or because whatever, that's not valid. If you don't like Sasha Bianca because you like Nigel McGuinness technical wrestling, okay. But it's also like there's a growing number of people who don't like women's wrestling because they don't think it's hard hitting enough, or they don't find it believable enough. And they're like couching those beliefs in like this, oh, I love women. I don't hate women, but I don't think they're as athletic, or I don't think they're strong enough. And what? I don't get it. I don't get it. And I don't want to be like super negative on the show, but it's hard to ignore the fact that the number of people saying stuff like this about women's wrestling is growing. And I don't think it's because they feel emboldened, they feel empowered, and they've always been there.
Right.
Like they've always believed this, but now they feel more comfortable saying it. And I think it's like a really big problem. And I don't know what the solution is, because AEW is doing its best women's wrestling it's ever done. I would say some of the matches coming out of the AEW women's division are some of the best in the world right now.
Yeah.
And they still get shit on. And I don't know how to fix that. Because not liking women's wrestling because you don't like women is not valid.
It is not. And when you have these hard hitters like Megan Bayne, which last night's match versus Billie Starkz, whether you like Billie Starkz or not, you find her to be tacky or not, I've seen the things that people post online.
About her clothes.
Yeah, I don't
Or
care.
hair.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what you think about how they look. Your mom might, your dad might, your friends might, but I personally do not care because that's not what makes a great match. I want to be entertained. Okay? You
Period.
give me Chris Statlander. You give me Megan Bayne. You give me Athena. And I'm over here going, yes, more, give me more. You give me Mercedes. Yes, give me more. I want more women's matches. And that's why I love Toni Storm and Mercedes literally leading our division, being two very different kind of wrestlers,
Yeah.
both dynamic and both can out wrestle like most men that I know.
Yeah. And it's hard not to feel discouraged when this stuff comes up. But also, Mercedes, Chris, Megan Bayne, Toni, Mariah, Athena, who made her finally on AWTV, which we're going to talk about.
Heard that crowd.
They're immensely popular. They are some of the best wrestlers in the world, and people are going to say that they're not. It's the same thing with like if a like when Will Ospreay was first, making waves, when he, a few years ago, the number of like homophobic comments about Will Ospreay, he was so feminine, blah 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 blah. People get jealous of talent and they lash out at the only thing that differentiates them from these people. So like they're a woman, they're a different race, they look a little different, something like that. And now those people are like supported by like this new culture. Okay, like you guys can go over there and have your own little wrestling experience, and we'll stay over here and be normal
and be sickos. But also, like, if this is not for you, that's fine. But AEW's television show has always been the alternative.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. It's always been, oh, well, it's not as produced. Oh, these segments are wonky and awkward. And, that's not why people are watching AEW. They're not watching it to be super polished. They're watching it because what I love about AEW is they go, okay, here is a pay-per-view. We want this for these types of fans. So they'll put like a really technical match on there. Then they'll have like a really funny match. I love a good funny match. Then they'll have, something that has been series and things. This is going to cap off, or this is going to continue that little series. Then they'll have like a bad guys match, right? Where all the bad guys win and they get the things. They've been better about booking women in the last, I don't know, couple months. What I would like is more women featured on their pay-per-views more than just the title matches. However, they do have different kinds of women's matches.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not afraid to be violent with those matches.
Yeah. And
that's what I want.
Yeah. And like, so just looking, this is not our Dynasty preview because we're going to do that next week because Dynasty is next week. Yeah. But just in the matches that have been announced, we have Jon Moxley and Swerve Strickland, a Sickos match.
Mm-hmm.
Ricochet, Kenny Omega, Speedball. High-flying, athleticism, chaos, nonsense. Ricochet is going to be an annoying little twerp. It's going to be great. Toni Storm and Megan Bayne. Powerhouse, big Haas style wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Not even going to talk about the trios match. Daniel Garcia and Adam Cole, which is like very classic, like Ring of Honor style wrestling.
That style of wrestling is why those two are one of my favorite wrestlers now. So
okay, let's talk about the trios really quick, because what the heck? Are they breaking up FTR?
Okay, last night If you did not watch Collision, go watch Collision. The last couple weeks, we've been seeing Dax and Cash having dissonance with each other, blaming it on Adam Copeland. Last night, we got a little shovity shove action.
Yeah.
What was it on Dynamite? They had a little sit down.
Yeah.
And Dax had his little library glasses on. But that's the thing. They're having this discourse. They're they need counseling, but they needed something. And I'm gonna be so. Oh, there's a puppy. I'm gonna be so sad if they.
I think it's going to end up with heel FTR. I think that like Dax is going to say you're either with me or you're not, and Cash is going to follow him. I think that's what it's going to end up being. And then Cope and Christian, whenever Christian is done with Nick Wayne. Don't know when.
Am I crying? I am. And the show has done its job. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Imagine we just do this show every week, just trying to make each other cry. It just gets like progressively worse.
Kenny Omega not being on TV. Kenny Omega retiring from wrestling.
He was on TV this week, and he was hilarious.
Okay.
Can we talk about Ricochet doing a promo at his wedding in like his chef's jacket suit?
Chef jacket.
It looked like a chef's jacket. And then, yeah,
I just thought it was his, like, some culture.
Maybe, but he's at his wedding or before his wedding, near his wedding. I don't know. And he like cuts a promo and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna beat both of you because I'm the best." Haha. And Kenny Omega is just like, yeah, anyway, about my cat.
Is he gonna come to the ring? Like how Cody came with Pharaoh? Is he gonna come to the ring with his cat? I would live.
He should. He needs to. And then he could just leave the cat with like Taz at commentary or something.
Listen, although cats can get a little bit wild, a little bit,
It's a big cat too.
Oh, he has one of those huge cats, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't know what like breed of cat it is, but it's a pretty big cat. He's a big boy. He seems well behaved, so you could probably bring him to the ring.
Honestly, after I had dreams about Kenny Omega, I just think that Kenny Omega is just great in all aspects. I think he's probably a fantastic chef. I think he's probably a great cat dad. I think that he picks up after himself. He doesn't leave his towels to be mildewy on the floor. He does his laundry at a respectable hour.
Period.
He doesn't ding dong ditch.
Oh my God. Do you want to tell that story?
Y'all, if you've been following me on Instagram, actually, so if you go follow me _queer auntie, I posted about these damn neighbor kids. There's a new family that moved downstairs in my big apartment complex, right? They've been running the halls. And I mean, like I live in a garden style apartment, which is, it's not like a high rise. It's like, it doesn't have like a lobby that you go into and then no, it's the one that you can park and walk up the stairs and your door's right there. Anyways. So they've just been running around, knocking on people's doors, ringing their doorbells, whatever. This one kid, first off, he started playing with my potted plants outside my door. So I was like, okay, I'm going to bring them in. We had a storm, whatever. The next day, he takes my plant stand and then he tries to throw it at a kid. So I go downstairs and I tell his mom, hey, your kid's been messing with my potted plants. Here's the video, blah, blah, blah. She goes, thanks so much. The next day, these kids running up and down the halls, unattended. There's no parent in sight. They just start ringing my Ring doorbell. But the thing about the Ring doorbells, it records it before they press the button and after. So it's not like the 90s and the 2000s where you could ring the doorbell and leave and no one knows who you are. Like, I got you in 4K. And the little kid comes in his Spider-Man costume.
Spider-Man costume, which makes it, and it's one of the Spider-Man costumes with muscles. So like he's like jacked up.
Yeah. And they just keep doing this. They just keep ringing the doorbell. It drives my dogs crazy. And I know that it's like innocent kid fun. They're not doing anything destructive besides for trying to destroy my plants. But they're being kids. But it's just so funny because the one video, he's like, do you want to do it again? They have one of those ring doorbell things. And they nearly collide when they run away. Oh, it's hilarious. So if you're on my Instagram, I did post like an initial video. I feel weird about posting other people's kids online. But if you want to see the video, it's really funny. And you know, if I had their permission, I would be sending it into, you know, funniest home videos or something. But it's just so funny. It's just so funny. But anyways, it was enough of a birth control for me, because I was like, you know what? While that is funny, imagine being their parent.
Yeah. Imagine having to sit them down and be like, hey, so you're on camera.
Yeah. Maybe don't do that. I don't know. Do you ever do ding dong ditch as a kid?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's
you ever get caught?
No.
Me neither.
No. I was really fast. Go up, you ring it, you run. The thing is, you can't just like run down the street. You gotta run around the corner.
Oh, we were just jumping in the bushes.
We don't have a lot of bushes in Florida.
Yeah. Although I wouldn't want to jump in a random bush in Florida because you don't know if there's an alligator in there.
That's true.
That's very true. I assume all dark places in Florida have alligators.
Probably. If you're in the vicinity of a body of water, there's probably alligators everywhere. You just don't see them. Until they're in the road, then you see them. But
although I did see a video this week and I thought of you. I saw a crocodile and an alligator fighting in a public park.
I love that.
I didn't know the difference until then. Whereas a crocodile is more up on its legs, where an alligator is.
Yeah. Crocodiles are also, they have like pointier mouths.
You know, if one is chasing me, I'm not going to be like, excuse me, sir. I need to know what the angle of your mouth is, just so that I know how much force.
You can just tell. You just see it and you just, because alligators, they're around.
Okay.
Florida kid things, I guess.
Both of them could chomp me.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah. They roll.
Alligators do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if one bites you, they're gonna try to roll, and so you gotta do everything you can. Just smack them in the head.
If I'm in that situation where I'm chomped by an alligator, I'm just letting life take its course. I think
your survival instincts would kick in, and you would just punch him in the eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna place money on the likelihood of that happening, but thank you.
Well, a significant part of your public education in Florida is on survival skills. I will say that.
Wow.
So if you can always call me and I'll talk you through it.
Hey, Kiley, right now I'm in the middle of an alligator death roll.
He's trying to drag me into the water to drown me.
Yeah. Help me? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I would
call me back.
Yeah. It's good. We'll figure it out.
See, Clown in the chat knows what video I'm talking about. So,
oh, I love the Everglades. The Everglades.
It sounds just like like a zoo, but just for alligators. Why? Yesterday on stream, they were chopping down trees, so there was the going on outside my window.
Yeah.
And now there's some sort of mechanical thing out there. What is happening? I don't know.
I don't know either. We're just in chaos constantly. But the Everglades is a swamp. That's just a national park. So it's just a swamp that you just go to.
See, when you say swamp, the Pacific Northwest also has protected wetland swamps, which as a kid, this is backcountry kind of things that we used to do. We would go looking for like bullfrogs.
Yeah, we did a lot of that too. Like walking on like the fallen trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then if you slipped in, which I'd been known to slip in.
Same.
But like the way that you fall into it, because there's also like lily pads and like foliage and all the things. There's like a layer of water, but then it's like a thick layer of like mud.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's that kind of like clay-like mud. And then there's like more goo, whatever, on the bottom. So you just like go down and then you're just like, oh, I'm stuck. So I lost my shoes. But no alligators.
We have alligators, we have cottonmouths, we have spiders.
Cottonmouths, as in snakes?
Yeah. They're all over. Florida is just treacherous.
Mm-hmm.
It's treacherous. And then if the animals don't get you, the sun will. The UV is always so ridiculously high that you just like start to blister.
And old people retire in Florida?
Yeah. And they get, if you ever go to a Florida beach, you will see the most like brown, leathery old people because they're just in the sun so much. They're just tanned and their skin starts to turn like leathery. Those are like those are retirees. It's true.
I've learned so much about Florida by this podcast alone.
I have a new book also. My aunt gave it to me. It's called Spooky Florida, Tales of Haunting, Strange Happenings, and Other Local Lore. So I'll read this, and then I'll come with ghost stories and stuff for you.
Okay, so I think in the chat, you should let us know, should we do Wrestling Made Me Cry After Dark? I will bring some of my spooky stories from Seattle, like the Great Seattle Fire and the things that were in hauntings. Because I got those books over there.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do ghost stories.
Okay. Period. I'm into it.
I'm into it too. I'm into it. What were we talking about before that? Oh, we were talking about Kenny Omega.
Yeah, love Kenny Omega because I mentioned, my dreams. It's just a weird week for me. Anyways, what did you think of his match versus Blake Christian?
I thought it was really good.
What are your thoughts on Blake Christian?
I'm optimistic about Blake Christian as a wrestler. I think that he has a really bright future in AEW if he wants it. I don't know what his future holds, like what his goals are. Mm-hmm. I think he looked really good with Kenny Omega. I think he did his job, which is more than you can say for a lot of people. But he was very much presented as a high-spirited, big dreams, big aspirations, young kid who can't quite keep up. But I do think that he sold like a dream. He made Kenny Omega look like Kenny Omega, and that's all you can ask for. And I think that AEW probably has plans for him because he had the match with Kenny Omega and he's been everywhere. So it was a good match. It was a good TV match. I don't think it was like the best Kenny Omega match ever. I don't think it was the best Blake Christian match ever either. But it was good. And then, the confrontation with Speedball after in the Ricochet promo, that was also good. I'm really excited for this match at Dynasty, though, the three-way.
I like a good three-way. So as someone who's been watching Ring of Honor, Blake Christian has been in and out of the spotlight. He has this new persona, this vanilla baby. He's got this new submission finisher, and everything about him is just bratty little kid, but I like it and I want to be bullied by him, you know? I think he's taking the title from Commander.
Probably.
The Ring of Honor television title, by the way.
Yeah.
Which, if you want to watch a really great match, last week, Commander and the Dark Panther had a really great showing. So if you want to watch some fantastic lucha, go watch Ring of Honor. If the price is bugging you, let me know. Because I think that Ring of Honor is something that people should be investing in, you know? So
speaking of Ring of Honor, let's talk about Athena.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you didn't say Jericho.
Oh, no. That little kid yelling at Jericho made my week. He was all up in Jericho's face. Like,
the way that I've never seen a child with abs like that is like
crazy, right? I didn't expect it.
I didn't expect it either.
Jericho got shown up. That kid was in like 50 times better shape. Like, just crazy. But if you didn't see Collision, here's what happened. Mercedes had a match against Robin Renegade. Good match, solid. Nothing to write home about, but it was good. After, she's like cutting a promo and she's like saying, I'm here for all the gold. All the gold. I'm going to win all the titles. I'm the best. Blah, 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 blah. Athena. On AWTV. It's only been a millennium that we've been waiting.
Right.
But Athena has her belts. Mercedes has her belts. There's confrontation. Mercedes gets her butt kicked. It was great. I don't know if the plan is for Athena and Mercedes to have a rivalry all the way to All In, because I do think that's like an All In match, which it seems kind of early if that's the case. But I'm here for, if it's Double or Nothing, I'm here for it regardless.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
I'm so here for it. It's going to be such a good match. It's like the no-brainer matchup that people have been clamoring for since Mercedes came to AW, if we're being real.
I mean, that's what we've been wanting, so.
Yeah. And it's just going to be like, when they finally have the match, balls to the wall, everything in the kitchen sink, like just crazy style match. I'm so excited for it. And I'm even more excited for Athena to finally have the AW spot. And then she comes and the crowd is chanting Athena.
I know. That crowd, the noise of the crowd, it's like, okay, well, now you know. Now you know who people want.
Yeah,
people want Athena.
They want Athena. And Mercedes was kind of like hyping up Robin Renegade. So I'm assuming there's going to be like an underling story there with Mercedes and Robin. Mercedes versus Billy is going to be good. I don't think Billy wins. I think it's going to be Mercedes is going to win. She's going to be like, haha, look, you are a bad teacher. Because her whole promo on Billy Starks was that Billy Starks has bad teachers. She has really bad wrestling training, which is not true. She's a very well-trained wrestler. She's very clean, but that's besides the point. And so I'm assuming Mercedes is going to be like, hi, I'm a better teacher, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have this match. It's definitely not going to be, if it's at Dynasty, I'm going to lose my mind. It can't be. It's got to be Double or Nothing or like later. If they just pull this random, they're just like, okay, instead of Billy Mercedes at Dynasty, it's going to be Athena. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to feel so robbed of the story. But I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not speaking it into existence. Knock on wood. Not happening. I'm just happy Athena is finally on AWTV. And it's Owen season, so they're announcing the brackets soon. Mercedes declared. Did she declare? I don't remember.
Yeah,
I think so. I'm so ready.
This seems bigger, like the first year that they had the Owen.
Yeah,
this seems more
like
important.
There's stakes to it. Yeah, I agree.
Which anytime that you add stakes to an already fantastic tournament, you know I'm in, because I'm a tournament girly. I don't know what it is. I think it's because it started with like. Did you ever watch America's Next Top Model?
Yes. Yes, of course I did.
So my friends and I, this is also like MySpace era. We would put up a bracket, and you'd go through each week of who's gonna go through. And it is your job to be honest, but also like whoever had the most points won. None of us ever won because we're basing it off of like early predictions or like, whatever Entertainment, these are all the people, and you're basing it off of like, oh, she's a New York queen. Oh, okay.
Did we lose Colin?
No, I'm here.
Oh, you dipped out. Are you back?
I'm here.
Okay.
Oh, no. We're gonna go. Anyways, so my bracketology has been very early on. So anytime that there's a tournament with multiple brackets, and I'm not just saying 3 or 4, like there's going to be some banger matches, I'm all here for. So listen, you want to fill out a bracket? Let's do it. Wrestling made me cry. Whoever wins buys each other a shake and espresso.
Period. I'm in.
All right,
I love a bracket. I love a bracket. I love a tournament. I'm excited because it's a tournament, and I think this is the strongest top to bottom the AW roster, like men and women, has been like ever.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're just gonna get banger matches for the sake of having banger matches in a tournament, and I'm so here for it. I'm also really excited because it felt like in the women's main event, it felt like Penelope Ford is getting some shine. We've seen obviously Megan Bayne getting this like insane push, which I think Megan Bayne is going to beat Toni Storm. Throwing that out there, I think it's going to happen.
Whoa!
I think so. Like, what that would be the shocker of the decade, and AW doesn't really do like big shocking things like that. It would be
my wig would fly off.
It'd be crazy, but it would be like it would be the best way to establish Megan Bayne so quickly. And like Mina Shirakawa's coming in apparently. Subscribe to Fable Select. And so I think if you have Megan beat Toni, I think Megan's like set for life and as a heel. And then I think Toni, there's a lot of interesting things you can do with her, like coming back to herself. Because she can't be Timeless Toni forever. I would love her to be, but she can't. So okay. Mike, that's a little too, I don't think. Okay, Mike says Megan should squash Toni in 2 minutes.
No.
Let's walk that back. If that happens, I would be here for it because I love a shocker. I love when wrestling surprises me. I would feel a little robbed though. I'm gonna be real. I would feel a little bit robbed because Megan and Toni could have like an insane. Sorry, my WhatsApp is blowing up.
You're famous.
No, it's former students who they're all, getting into college and things. So it's exciting times. But what was I saying? Oh, they would have like a banger, like 20-minute match. And I want it. I like the sicko in me craves it. But I do think Megan's going to win. I don't know. I just have a gut feeling. And I think Kenny Omega wins, and we get that like big babyface celebration win, and then I think I don't care about the Moxley and Swerve. I don't care who wins. I've given up on the world title. She is gone to me. The women's world title is the real world title. That's
amen. And it should main event every time, regardless.
Why isn't it main eventing?
It should.
But Toni Storm is the most over person in the freaking company, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And Hangman Swerve is that, like, these little backstage moments they're having. That's what people are latching on to, not Jon Moxley. I think common sense, we can, you know, boop, beep, boop, 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 plug in some stuff on our computers and fix it. But anyway, that's besides the point. I could rant for hours about the treatment of Toni Storm. She should main event everything. She's so
She
good.
should. She should, because she is that good. I agree. You're not going to see me disagreeing.
No. I don't think anybody in this chat is going to disagree either. But Athena is an interesting point because of Ring of Honor. So, like, does she be Chris Jericho and just have the Ring of Honor title, like, on AEW? Does she drop it? What do we do with it? Or is this a one-off and then she goes back to Ring of Honor? I don't know. But I do think that Athena brings in a lot of uniqueness to the AEW women's division. Not that there's any gaps in the women's division, but I think that she adds something that isn't already there. So I'm so excited. I love Athena, and I love that the crowd was so excited for her.
It's because we've been wanting for it. We've been waiting for it.
I know. It's so cutesy. So cutesy.
So cutesy.
I just like when people who are like unsung heroes get their due. Like, that is the best story to me. Like, I go crazy for those kinds of stories. I just adore them. And then so the Hurt Syndicate, I just had to bring this up because I need to know what you thought about this. So MVP invites MJF into the Hurt Syndicate, which, buddy,
was I the only one who thought that, like, it does something's not?
I think I'm following. Yeah, it's not. I don't think so, MVP. I don't think so.
I don't like this, but a majority of it is because I don't like MJF.
Yeah. Why
Stop trying to ruin things that I like, MJF?
Every time I like something, they put MJF in it.
Right?
But what? And so MVP invites MJF into the Hurt Syndicate. You know, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin come out and they're like, MVP, you're an idiot. And they rip up the business card. They say, let's go, bud. You're stupid. You're not doing this. And then Big Bill and Brian Keith come out and they're like, hey, I need you to know that I didn't get pinned for the World Tag Titles. That was the dude who went to the other company. And I never got my rematch that has never been specified in AW history that I'm entitled to. So you're going to give me a rematch. And then MVP cooked him on the mic. He made him look like a goober. He was like, buddy, you're not worth my time. We're getting out of this ring. I'm going to cut this promo walking to the back. Just how little I care about you. And Big Bill is cutting this, like, very stereotypical, like,
right. Somebody else wrote promo. This for him.
And MVP's like, nah. After we just saw MVP get embarrassed by Bobby Lashley.
Which Bobby Lashley lately in these leather suits, my guy.
I love Bobby Lashley.
He can do no wrong. There's nothing
wrong.
that
Shelton Benjamin, same. They are untouchable to me. They are in a glass box and they will be there forever. And then Brian Keith, they call Brian Keith Big Bill's, like, girlfriend. And I'm like, MVP, we just saw you get dog walked. He's just there. He's just watching this happen. So not only did I have to see MJF. I had to see Bobby Lashley versus MJF while the crowd's chanting Shelton. And then I had to see Big Bill and the Learning Tree who have to prove themselves to Chris Jericho, who just not that a few days ago got dog walked by a little kid with abs. And then, when it's all said and done, I have to watch Big Bill and Brian Keith get verbally annihilated live on television by the man who just got annihilated by Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley remains GOAT.
He's definitely the top of this pyramid. Everybody else is at the bottom now. And MJF does not fit in this scenario at all. For valid reasons, I would say. So at the end of the day, what are we doing here? It's going to be Learning Tree versus Bobby and Shelton.
But I need them to break.
Why? Big Bill is bigger than Bobby Lashley, and he looked like a teenage boy in that. I hated this. I was like so confused the entire time. Everybody looked like a whiner except for Bobby Lashley. And Shelton? What are his thoughts? I don't know. He has none. He's just there. MJF, a passive witness to the event. They're tag champions, too.
I know! They're the
and MJF's like hyping up MVP's cane. He's like, that's a good cane you got there, buddy. And Big Bill's like, MVP, aren't you a pimp? What? This whole segment, I like, it was just one thing after another that I was like, oh.
I'm literally dead. This is why wrestling made me cry, because I'm literally laughing so much.
I feel like this was like worst case scenario for the Hurt Syndicate. The Outrunners thing was fun, whatever.
Right.
And now I'm supposed to believe that MVP is the mouthpiece of the Hurt Syndicate and the leader, but he's stupid. And Bobby Lashley knows that he's stupid. That's what I got out of this. And Shelton is just the crowd favorite. All of this is happening while the crowd's like, hey, Shelton, pick up the mic. Let us know what you think. And Shelton is just smiling with his belt in his suit.
Because he's baby.
He is baby, and he's my baby. And why is it my baby wrestling? And Big Bill? How do you go from the crowd chanting Big Bill, Big Bill, Big Bill to the crowd laughing at a humiliated Big Bill?
Honestly,
I don't get it.
I think it's because I know that Brian Cage to doing logistics and Fightful Select go over there because he'll be more eloquent than me, but I know that Brian Cage did suffer an injury. So that put them out of action, which is like, okay, so we're stalling while we try to figure out what's going on with Brian Cage. But here's my problem with AEW and tag divisions is you have to have, if you're gunning for one team to be in that spot and they waver or have injury or need a second, you need to have one front loaded.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be this forced front loaded. And I'm over here losing my shit, crying my makeup off because this whole angle is so funny to me.
It makes no sense because here, let's think about this logically for a second.
Okay.
You say, okay, we have to pivot from Brian Cage, who we've been establishing. Who do we pivot to? Well, Brian's big, so it's got to be Big Bill. That's the logic? And the story is that Big Bill has to prove himself to Chris Jericho? I'm sorry. Let's think about this for a second. Okay, let's look at all of the tag teams we could have had. Okay?
Okay.
Bullet Club Gold. We can run that back again. The Butcher and the Blade. The Dark Order. Where they at, though? Don Callis family, any combination of them, just sub someone in for Brian Cage. Mark Davis is right there. The Elite.
Okay.
You can't do FTR because
they're having temper tantrums right now.
Yeah. Grizzled Young Vets. Gates of Agony. The Hounds of Hell. The Infantry. The Kingdom. LFI. Gag the Learning Tree. MXM. I don't even want to talk about the ops. What are the ops? I don't understand them at all either. But just goes to show that there are endless possibilities. And this is the option they went with. I don't know who this was for. Because it wasn't for me. Oh yeah, Mike is right. The Hounds of Hell haven't done anything at all. Except Brody King had a great match against Okada, and then had a great match on television.
Fantastic match. Kyle Fletcher and him. Please continue. I just. Buddy's hurt too? What?
When did Buddy get hurt? I'm Googling. Hold on, squad. We will get the news.
I need to get a less squeaky chair. Y'all can hear this, right? Every time I...
Oh, he got injured in Australia.
Oh, no. Mr. Buddy, Ethan, what happened?
He rolled his ankle. Broke his ankle. I don't know. But yeah, he's in a boot. But listen, that does not discount Mark Davis. Mark Davis and oh
my God, him and his big dumper. That big old dumpy.
I have so many questions about the Don Callis family, and none of them have been resolved. None of them have, because okay. Obviously, I think Kyle Fletcher is like the new ace of the Don Callis family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is everybody else there? This is a big faction. It has Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Mark Davis, Kyle Fletcher, and Takeshita. And Don Callis, I guess, if you count Don Callis. Oh, and is Trent officially a part of the Don Callis family, or was that a little one-off funsy thing? I don't know.
I miss him.
It's his birthday today, I think. But and then we have the Death Riders, who are finally defending their trios titles against Rated FTR, who are in shambles. And Claudio is being mean to Yuta. I'm confused. I'm very confused. Where is Jay White? Where is he? Because I thought that Jay White was going to be Kenny Omega's first challenger. It made sense to me in my head. Where is he?
Where is he?
I don't know. Yeah, he's in the Owen, but where's he now? He's just going to be in the Owen? He's not doing anything. He's not, but what I mean is that he's not in a significant program when he was just the side piece to the world title program. So I would think that would be okay, now Jay's next, but it's Swerve.
Yeah, he's in the Owen because he won last night. Yeah,
but it's not he's in a program. He's just in the Owen.
Oh, he's just there. Okay, that's what you mean. I was wait a minute.
Where's his story? Because he was just in the Copeland story, or in quotes, the Copeland story. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions in AW, but I feel confident in AW right now that they're going to resolve these problems and figure it out. Because the last, I would say since February, I would say that they've done a really good job of fixing mistakes of the past and getting things back on track.
Yeah.
And letting a little kid bully Chris Jericho. Like that, if you haven't seen that video, you need to see it.
Yeah, amen.
That kid verbally annihilated Chris Jericho. Ate and left no crumbs.
I loved it.
Just so good. I might watch it again after this.
I love that. That was a witch laugh. Sorry.
That kid I think they did find the dad, but they need to bring that kid the next time that the Costco guys are there with the Rizzler. That kid needs to be there. That kid needs to be a figure in AEW now. Like nothing will ever top that. Brian Keith and Big Bill were laughing their asses off.
I mean, I'm over here laughing my ass off, so
you can't help but laugh sometimes, you know. Sometimes the stuff just gets like it just gets a little out there, y'all.
Penny. She's so loud. Can you hear her?
No. She's just a baby. She's a little baby. What were we talking about? Oh, the Hurt Syndicate.
Jay White. Yeah, Hurt Syndicate. Yeah.
But listen, there's a lot going on in AEW that I like. I don't know where the Young Bucks are. Don't know where they're like traveling and stuff. I know that because Matt Jackson is a travel vlogger now. Don't know when they're coming back. Don't know anything about that. Oh, Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight
is signed to AEW, which I remember watching him in the Pacific Northwest scene Without a Cause, defunct now, being known as Jet Knight, and that man flew so high that he almost hit the top of the VW. And like those VWs, like it's not like they got a low ceiling, you know, it's no 8-foot ceilings. They're like 14, 15-foot ceilings. That man, I don't understand. He can make air out of nothing. Still.
Yeah. Kevin Knight is like Speedball in my head, like fits like a glove in AEW. Like just slots in perfectly, no issues at all. And I think like these are the kind of guys that AEW needs to be signing more of. You know what I mean? These like guys who have a lot of experience in wrestling, but haven't quite been the like mainstream television style wrestlers. Like they haven't made that jump quite yet. And Kevin Knight is just one of those guys that's hustled on the indies, done a lot of work, improved dramatically, just all the athleticism and the charisma that an AEW wrestler needs, and getting the opportunity. Like I think AEW should be positioning themselves to give the opportunities and the money to like these kind of guys. And I think they're kind of realizing that and getting back in the group because they've Josh Alexander, Speedball, Kevin Knight back to back.
Amen.
So like incredible, just like incredible talent. And I think they're just the best moves that could be made to ensure that you have wrestlers who you can have for a long time. And that I'm all for AEW signing older guys and giving them the run of a lifetime and the retirement they want. But you also need to invest in the building blocks, which is Speedball. And it's Kevin Knight. And it's Josh Alexander. And it's these kind of wrestlers. And obviously the women's division is Megan Bayne. And it's Mariah May, and it's Mina, and it's Penelope, and Chris and Willow. But I'm just so optimistic about AEW right now.
I am too, and I haven't felt this optimistic about AEW wrestling since Wrestle Dream 2023.
It's been a while. There was it took them a long time.
Hello, we were here all last year going, okay, I'm waiting for it to go. I'm waiting. I miss Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, like, come back. Okay, Young Bucks, come back. And now we have Kenny Omega back, and I feel like it's all right in the world again. Everything is fiddling into place.
Yeah.
Is it all Kenny Omega's fault? I don't know, but
it's the Kenny Omega effect. You know, when he's on the card, you have to work harder. But I also think they just needed time to bounce back from the events that shall not be named with a certain wrestler who shall not be named.
Look at my eyes.
What do you see? I've given my thoughts on that scenario on so many podcasts that I can't rehash it again. But
okay, but where's Jack Perry?
I don't know. Has anybody reported where Jack Perry is, chat? Let us know.
Will you be seeing Mr. Sting on his farewell tour?
I will not be.
He's not coming anywhere near me.
Yeah, he's not coming anywhere near me either.
Which is a big bummer.
Also, chat, while you're figuring out where Jack Perry is, will someone figure out when Darby's climbing Mount Everest? Will someone do that for me? Thanks.
Because once he finishes that and comes back, then the world title will be fine again?
No. I don't think it'll be fine again, but it'll be better than what it currently is. I personally don't think Darby should be world champion, straight up, but I recognize that I'm outvoted by the community, and that's fine with me. Jack Perry, I don't know. Does he come back as the scapegoat? Does he come back as Jungle Boy? Is he something new entirely? I'm invested. I'm more invested in Jack. He's like the pillar that I've claimed is like my pillar. The rest of them, Sammy, MJF, Darby, they're not my pillars. Jack, that's mine. We're jacking.
Yeah. We've been jacking it all year long. He is my pillar too.
Yeah, I feel like everybody claims a pillar and they're like attached to that one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
I'm
just
into
how
that one. Yeah,
that's mine. And I feel like we're getting slowly new generations of pillars, but the 4 pillars originally, like the original 4, you can't top them.
And Britt Baker's somewhere in there, right?
I thought she was.
I miss her. I miss the old Britt Baker. That Britt Baker.
She came back and I was like, oh, suddenly I don't care about you anymore.
Because this is the caliber of wrestling that like she came back to is like Willow, Chris, Toni, Mariah May, Mercedes.
But I feel like physically, athletically, she's capable of that. It just didn't happen in the Mercedes match. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either.
But my new pillar of the women's division.
Okay, I need your 4. Who are your 4 pillars of the women's division?
Chris, Willow. Oh my God. Because you can't pick Mercedes or Toni because they're on top of the pillars. Chris, Willow, Mariah, Megan.
I agree with the Chris and Willow. Athena.
But like I try not to pick any champions because I feel like they're like the pillars. You're the pillars.
But like, would you consider her of AEW, not of Ring of Honor?
That's true. Chris Willow. Chris Willow. Oh, I feel like you could make a case for Megan. You can make a case for Mariah. You can make a case for Athena. Oh my goodness. You could even probably make a case for Julia Hart or Penelope.
Where has Nyla been? I need Nyla. Nyla was always... Nyla for so long was like, okay, we have this new wrestler. We need to test them versus somebody else. And Nyla was in that role for so long.
I'm on the AW roster page. I'm scrolling to the women.
Listen,
we got to go scroll through the 4,000 men that are employed here. Okay, we're here.
My God, Diana Perazzo is in there too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Where's Diana?
Looking hot backstage.
Diana is incredible. Sheeta. Well, Sheeta does a lot of like YouTube, Twitch streaming now, like gaming stuff. So I don't know. I don't know why Sheeta isn't wrestling. I'm gonna be real, but I would say Sheeta was a pillar, but I don't think Sheeta's a pillar now because she's not like there. Let's see. Harley Cameron. You can make a case for Harley Cameron. Jamie Hayter. Gotta make a case for Jamie. Oh my goodness. Mariah, Marina, Megan. Mother Wayne. Do we think Mother Wayne is a pillar? Oh my God. Is Aminata a pillar? Do we think? Chat, what do you think?
Yes.
Red Velvet. I think Red Velvet's a pillar. Sky Blue. Tymello.
I miss her.
Taya Valkyrie. Thunder Rosa. Do we think Thunder Rosa's a pillar, guys? Yuka, Willow, Toni. They're all pillars. Because they all like, I don't think you could pick just 4. That's so hard. Okay, chat. Who are your 4 pillars of the women's division? Let's go there. Let's see. I need to gauge the room.
Yeah.
I think Chris Willow are like 2 that everybody would be like, okay,
yeah.
That's pretty solid. I don't know. Chris Willow. I'm going to stick with Chris Willow. Mariah. Chris Willow, Mariah. I guess not Megan because we haven't seen a whole lot of Megan yet. Chris Willow, Mariah. Julia Hart. That's my final answer. Jamie Hayter.
Jamie Hayter. Oh.
So, okay, we have 1 for Megan, 1 for Jamie, 1 for Thunder Rosa, 1 for Stat Willow, Toni, Sheeta. That's solid. But like in my head, the pillars can't be world champions.
Current world champions or
current world champions? Because I feel like once you become a world champion, you're no longer a because like to me the pillars are like supporting.
Sure.
But then if you make it, you can't be world champion ever. That eliminates so many people.
Right.
Oh my God. I'm gonna put this on Blue Sky. Let's ask. Let's gauge the room.
Let's ask. Because I would say Chris Willow, Athena, Megan Bayne. No, Jamie Hayter.
Jose, I would say they don't need to be originals. Just like current AW right now, who are the pillars? We have Willow, Toni, Chris, Athena. We have a vote for Billy. Oh, would you say that Sky Blue?
Yeah, it's hard when they're injured, you know?
Yeah. Typing up a Blue Sky post. We have a vote for Chris, Willow, Rosa, and Jamie. That's good. Yeah. Mina, yeah, but Mina, like, I don't think we've seen enough of Mina yet. We have a vote for Billy, Julia, Sky, and Mina. That's solid.
Mm-hmm.
No Mercedes. I guess you could have Mercedes and Toni. I don't care. All right. Let's see. Let's gauge the room, chat. We'll see what people think. Oh, okay. Mercedes over Mina. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess if you allow world champs, it's hard not to put Mercedes and Toni in there. Mercedes is too new? She's been there for so long. Mercedes is too new. Well, then if Mercedes is too new, they're all too new. And we have to go with Penelope, Ty Mello, Serena Deeb, and Britt Baker. We got Chris, Willow, Julia, Aminata, Willow, Stat, Thunder Rosa, and Hater. These are all solid.
These are all solid.
The first response on my question about the AW Women's Division was 4 men, so I think they misread.
Oh no! Boo! Boo, man! Boo! Boo!
Oh, and then okay, for next week's show, I need you all to think about your 4 pillar tag teams because I'm gonna ask it next week, and I need you to be ready, chat. Okay, this is your homework. Take it serious. 4 pillars tag. 4 pillars women. My final answer: Chris, Willow, Jamie.
Someone replying. Sometimes it helps to read the question.
Someone replied that?
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm gagged. I'm gagged. That's crazy. That's crazy. Social media is wild, isn't it?
I saving this for later. I can't post that. No. Sorry. I forgot that I had copied something earlier.
What are we doing? Penelope and Anna J. That's a solid shout. Save your tag teams for next week.
Yeah.
I need you to really think about it.
Harley Cameron.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking earlier. But I don't know if you could put Harley Cameron above like Jamie or Thunder Rosa or Julia. I don't know. See, and the thing is, like, is Mercedes a pillar without question? Like, I guess it depends on your definition of pillar. Because, like, in my head, when the first 4 pillars were established, they were, like, future world champs.
Yeah, future world champs.
Yeah. But if you count pillars as, like, people that sustain the division, then you have to put Mercedes and Toni and Athena. Which I don't know. It's up to you. It's your interpretation, chat. Your interpretation. I will not define it for you. That's the beauty of the question.
But it's not men.
Not men. No men. Women and gender neutral, non-binary people who wrestle in the women's division. Those are the bounds.
Amen.
Yeah, Sheeta, I guess, is a pillar of the women's division all time. But would you say she's a pillar right now? I don't know. That's the beauty of the question. Okay, let's see. We got 1 vote for Toni, Mercedes, Statlander, Mariah May. Toni, Mercedes, Thunder Rosa, Julia. Toni, Mercedes, Willow, Stat. Toni, Mercedes, Statlander, May. Okay, so Willow and Stat.
Yeah.
Locked
in.
Oh, but it's like those other 2 spots.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Shout out Willow and Chris Statlander for locking in their status, though.
Yeah.
They said we're undeniable. You are not going to deny us. Because can you imagine? I struggle to think of a 4 pillars of the women's division that doesn't have them in it.
Agreed.
Like, even when the women's division was like in the trenches, Stat was there. And then Willow has been a star since then, and she's been like so instrumental in changing the division. Like just locked in.
Agreed. Kiley, putting out the good questions out here.
That's what I'm here for. That's why they pay me the big bucks. What a Sunday, guys. What a week of wrestling. We had Kenny Omega being hilarious.
Yeah.
We had the melodramatic fight between FTR.
Melodramatic.
We had emo Wheeler Yuta being emo once again. We had Mercedes running wild.
Yeah.
We had Hangman hitting us with a bitch did I stutter. What a time we live in.
It is great.
And meanwhile, Hangman is posting a lot of gardening content on Blue Sky.
Which valid.
So valid.
Mm-hmm.
What a time.
I'm into it.
I'm into it too. Do you want to give your final thoughts and your plugs?
Well, wrestling is alive and well, and if you don't think so, you're not watching the right wrestling. I can be found anywhere there is a social media _queer auntie. I'm trying to boost up my Blue Sky, so I'm just queer auntie without the underscore. Go find me. I just posted under Kiley's post, and I also retweeted it, so it's easy to find me. Please go find me. I'd love to engage. If you engage with me, I'm gonna engage with you, unless you're being weird. I'm just anywhere there is social media. If you want to follow the kids saga of the kids playing Ding Dong Ditch, go follow me on Instagram. I'm just having fun Thursdays through Sundays streaming. If you want to know where I'm going live, I stream content about Ring of Honor, RuPaul's Drag Race. I do interviews sometimes, and I'm here. So find out where I am. Go follow me on all social media because I love you and I love your face. Thanks.
Period. Your plugs are so like polished, and mine I'm like, oh yeah, Fightful Overbooked, gotta plug the things. But my final thought is that I love this show and I had a good time today. And also remember to do your homework and come prepared with your tag team pillars, because next week we're going to preview Dynasty because we got the pre-show to the pre-show again.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tony Khan. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do tag team pillars because listen, it's chaos and I'm here for it.
It's also my wedding anniversary, so if y'all don't bring your super chats next week because it's my wedding anniversary.
And show up in your nice clothes, chat.
Yeah, nice
it's a wedding
dress.
Anniversary. You need to dress up.
I'm not wearing my wedding dress though because I can't sit in my wedding dress.
I'll wear a dress. I don't think I own a white dress though. Not that I would wear a white dress.
We're wearing white wedding dresses. Listen,
I could wear like a springy florally dress and be.
I mean, I posted this picture. If you can't see, that's a full corset in the back.
Yeah.
Also, shout out that hair. I had so many bobby pins in that hair.
It's got to keep it in place, man.
And it rained. It rained on my wedding day, and it still stayed. So it was great.
I don't know where my final thoughts were going, but yeah, I had fun today. And then plugs, you can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at Kiley Wrestling. I'm more active on Blue Sky. I'm sorry, I like it more. Kill me, sue me.
Oh,
whatever.
I'm not gonna. Hello, alligator.
It just crashes through the window and gets me like a cool old man.
Oh yeah.
And I just die live on stream. We get 1 million views. Fightful Overbooked goes viral. Please don't do that. Do not kill me. I like Blue Sky more. I'm sorry. Twitter is like it's a cesspool. But yeah, follow me at Kiley Wrestling. I post a lot about wrestling. I post a lot about other stuff. Just follow me. This is Fightful Overbooked. It's a channel that has wrestling content, obviously, but it has some non-wrestling content. So make sure you go and you check out all these shows that are happening on Fightful Overbooked. I recommend Coexisting with Rob and Maggie. That's a great show. You might like In the Weeds with Joel Pearl, my arch nemesis, which I won't fault you if you like it. But Joel Pearl knows that we're on a collision course, and it's going to be like Godzilla versus King Kong when me and Joel Pearl finally throw hands. But yeah, go watch those great shows and subscribe to Fightful Overbooked. And if you're watching this after we go live, hello, welcome. Let me know your 4 pillars in the comments below. Of the women's division, no men. Women's division. Let me know below. Like this video, all the things. Also, we're live every Sunday at noon Eastern, which means next week, as I said, we'll be live before the pay-per-view. It'll be fun. It's going to be a good time. So make sure you're here for that. Noon Eastern. Sometimes it's a little bit afternoon. It could be like 12:10. You'll live. Show up. Fightful Overbooked. Sundays, noon Eastern.
Amen.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. There are so many comments on the Women's Pillars post. Go participate if you want. Go have a good time. I'm going to go read them and try to come up with some kind of consensus from the comments. It's going to be good. But thank you guys so much for joining us. This was a wild show, off the rails, but that's the best kind of show. So we'll see you guys next week. Bye.